Welcome back to the One Man's Journey podcast. Today I've got Alejandro Waddell, and he is a veteran, and we thank him for his service. And he's a very big family man, originally from New York, and now is full on in real estate. And I've thoroughly enjoyed following him and his content on social media. And so I wanted to bring him in, have him tell his story, and just get a little bit more and understand a little bit more about Jay. So Jay, I'll let you take it away here and go ahead and tell your story, and we'll see what comes up.
Yeah, Ryan. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on. I know we've been back and forth in terms of like on social media, commenting on each other, and this is a great intro to your followings, and also my following. Introduction to you because obviously we're in the same space and helping each other out. So I appreciate you putting this together, man. But yeah, so a little bit about me. Originally from New York, Bronx, New York. Don't be afraid. Don't be alarmed, everyone. But yeah, the Bronx is an interesting place to grow up. It's you get a little bit of everything. Everyone, it's a melting pot, like New York City, of course. I went to um, to high school in the Bronx, and I guess I've talked to like just along the way. I've talked to so many people that went to New York and visited and enjoyed it, and but then also were curious about what it was like growing up in New York. And I'll say that it's like nowhere else. I would say you have a mixture, like I mentioned, of everyone, and you have to adapt really quick to a fast moving environment. When I was 18, I actually joined the Air Force, and joining the military was never an option for me. It it was probably the last resort. Even college was not an option for me either, or not even. It was never a thought. It was just go to high school, finish it, and then get a job or somewhere. But I will say that when I started high school, I actually started in college prep courses. So I was somewhat smart, right? I was doing something good, and you get involved into the wrong crowd. And as the years went, I actually got out of college prep courses, but that just had to do with being in the wrong crowd, and not attending so many classes, like skipping school and stuff. But I always enjoyed learning. But nonetheless, I would say my senior year, I was like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to do next, and still didn't necessarily have a plan, but I did have some Air Force recruiters that came to the school. And New York is not very pro-military. They're not pro-military at all. And it did intrigue me. It did intrigue me, the idea of joining the military, going away, seeing the world. And I admit, like, even in joining the military, I cannot truly say that I went or I joined the military to serve my country. I don't know too many people personally that have served, whether it be 10, 4, 20 years, and say that they served or they joined to serve their country. It was more so of um, a decision for themselves, right? It was something that they wanted to do to either get out of their state or just do something different. But to serve their country, I've never really met too many people that say that was the case. But fast forward, there's like little snippets in how I joined the Air Force, and because I went back before between the Air Force and the Navy. But I'll spare you on that, on how I joined the Air Force. But I joined at around 18, 19, and that was an eye opener as well. Going to boot camp and being around a different mixture of people as well. But see, in New York, you're around a different mixture of people that are from essentially other countries. When you join, the Air Force, military, you're in boot camp, but you're around people that are from the U.S. At least as a whole, right? When I first got in, I actually had signed up to become a fireman, and when I was in, they gave me an option to to go to another school at a quicker pace. So pretty much get into the military faster. And I got in as open general, had no idea what that was. And truth be told, later on that it was like working in different fields. Like you can work in a gym, you can work in the cafeterias, you can work as a deployment manager, you can work at lodging, so many different fields. But I actually landed in fitness, and I was by luck, because had I shown up to my base maybe like a day or two prior, I probably would have been in the kitchen. But got lucky, was in fitness, and I was there for about 3 years, and then from there, and I was in North Carolina, and then from there, I just fast forward. Um, Last base was in Hawaii. So I stumbled upon Hawaii as my last base, and that was like around 8 to 11 years. And then stumbled upon the Air Force. Oh, I'm sorry, stumbled upon real estate. And real estate wasn't ever an idea that I wanted to entertain at all. I had friends that were in real estate, and they had approached me with the idea, because I was in marketing and I was in sales and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, sell a house. It doesn't make sense. Like, who's interested in selling houses, and how can you make that intriguing? But that was in Hawaii, and then when I moved to Florida after, like, right around COVID time, 2021, I was looking to use my VA loan, and I figured, okay, you know what? Let me learn the process. Again, going back to always wanting to know how to get things done, how to do things, right? I don't know if that was just my nature, or that I'm proactive, or it's just the military taught me. I don't know, but I wanted to know what was the process of buying a home, or what a realtor would do, even what a lender would look into, like how they would look into my file, my credit report, and all that stuff. And I purchased a course, and it was actually Aceable. Aceable course, and it's a really, really good course. I do recommend that course if someone's looking to become a realtor or get into real estate. And uh, I studied it, and I would say for about 2 months after I got licensed is when I realized that I was licensed. So I had my license for about 2 months. So September, right? Because this wasn't a thing for me. It wasn't like I wanted to become a realtor. I applied. I took the exam, all that stuff, and then so in September I had received my license, and I didn't find out until December, checking, scrolling my emails. Wow, I got a license. And then the following month, January, I started going to different brokerages, interviewing them. Obviously, they're interviewing me, and I landed in one office, and it clicked. It clicked. I'd say maybe like 20 minutes in there, having a conversation, it clicked, and it was my first brokerage. Now I'm at my second brokerage, and just as happy. Things are moving. So, and now working towards here at the end of the end of January, applying for my broker's license. So I'm studying for that now. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's a little intro
So
to me.
yeah, moving up the chain there, like you said, like it just feels like one of those things just kept showing up right after the other, right? Like that for me,
Yep.
that's kind of how I've approached it too, or I've seen it happen now. Is like, you're never going to see that jump, but then when that jump is presented, you're like, yeah, I could do that, and then that's kind of how it starts, right? Like you're not expecting to make that jump, but then it's just there to happen. Um, how long
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
you and your wife been together?
We met in 2017, and we got married in 20. Oh, geez, what year is this? 2021. Yeah, we got married in 21. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
And how did that, like, so that kind of happened right around the time frame of the move and the move to real
yeah,
estate, right? Like, so
yep.
how did that, like, how did the impact on your personal life come in there? Like when you're switching from, doing what you were doing before to now going into this full on like commission, like this sink or swim. Like how did you and your family respond to that?
Yeah, so it's funny because I was actually, when I mentioned I was doing marketing and sales, I was actually part of a multi-level marketing company. So as soon as, well, even before I got out the military, I was already doing that. So even prior to doing that, I was in the military, but I had started a clothing line. and it was more of like activewear. So it was just inspired by me. Um, I was training for men's physique competition in Hawaii, and so I just seen, everyone in the gym kind of wearing like their team's logo and their brand. I was like, well, I'm not part of any team. I did have someone that was like coaching me how to look on stage, but in terms of like working out and stuff, like it was just me. Like downloaded a program and I followed the regiment, the eating schedule, and then I just had a coach that showed me how to present myself on stage, and then that's where the birth of the fitness line had started. And so I was like already marketing, learning how to market, learning how to do sales, ads on Facebook. So this is like 2015 that had started doing that. And then there wasn't too many people on YouTube or Facebook talking about how to do ads or sales and stuff. And there was, but it was more of like classroom environment type stuff. And shortly after that, because I was making headway or I was making noise in that space in terms of like sales and doing my own thing, I had a friend of mine that was like, he was in multi-level marketing, and he was like, "Man, I think you'll be great at doing this. Are you interested?" So for about a couple months, I was kind of like brushing him off because I was so focused on what I was doing, and it didn't line up, right? It never synced in terms of like when we would meet. And then finally he was like, "You know what? I'm coming to your house. Is this a good time?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, come over." He showed me the program. And then, shortly after I joined. And so doing that was all marketing. Of course, I would have to present what the what it was, right? What the service or product that we were selling. And I kind of just jumped right into it, like no experience or uh, no real training. It was just like, this is the presentation, present it, and, show people what it is that it is and how it can benefit them, and and then that was it. Like that was the only talk. And from there, I grew a team, and that company went away. They got into some issues, some legal issues, but that company went away. But nonetheless, I had a really good time in learning how to market, how to build a team, sales and whatnot. And when I got into real estate was well, again, I never thought about whether it was sales or it was marketing. I had no idea what real estate was. I just figured houses, buying them, that was it. Not even the selling side, the sale side of things, let alone investors. And quickly found out as I got in that it's a lot of marketing. And I wouldn't say much of sales, more if anything, there's more like negotiating in contracts. But sales, maybe you're selling yourself in terms of like if you're talking to a seller, what you can do for them. But there's not too much of that, right? But a lot more marketing for sure.
Yeah, when it's interesting that you say that
Did I
there's no
answer your
sales
question? I'm
in.
sorry. Did I
Yeah. What's that? Oh yeah,
did I
no,
answer your question?
it's all
Oh,
good.
okay.
It's like I said, it's all a free for all here. Whatever comes up, comes
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
So it's all good. Uh, but you're talking about the sales piece, and it's funny because whenever I interact with people that are really good at sales, they say that their job is not sales. And like that means,
yeah,
like for me, that means that you probably have an expertise that you're pushing down, and it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
yeah,
And you're recognizing it as a piece of the marketing, which is good because that means you're not shoving things down people's throats. You're actually trying to help them find a solution for what they have. And so
100%.
that's a really key thing with salespeople that they don't really always recognize, and especially the ones that are really, really good at what they do. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
and so you mentioned that you've kind of been doing the sales thing a long time and the marketing piece, and real estate to me, it kind of ends up being that path that a lot of people go because of you know the ability to apply those skills to make a lot of money. I mean, there's
Yeah,
that's really where
yeah,
it comes out for a lot of people. And then once you recognize and you make all the money, you recognize like, I just really want to help people not get screwed by the people that are out here just for the money.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
it's such a
100%.
transition to recognize that. When did that transition or recognition come for you?
Well, I'd say from the very beginning, truth be told, because when I was going around and interviewing different brokerages, that was that was the one question that was asked by the brokerage that I joined. They said, why do you want to become a realtor, or why, what makes it so intriguing to get into this space? And I had to think about that. And for me, the only thing that came up to my mind in my mind was helping people, right? Because again, even when I got into this, I can't speak for everyone, but this is how I am. I'm very proactive. I'm very okay. It give me kind of like the bird's eye view of what we're gonna do, and then I have an understanding. But not everyone's like that. So a lot of people, like a lot of buyers, or even my clients in general, they don't. They have a somewhat of an understanding of real estate, really more so than what I had coming in, and they just need the guidance, right? Because a lot of times people, and I'm sure you know this, that a lot of buyers will say, hey, this is the type of home that I want, this is what I want, this is the criteria. And then when you go and start looking, it's anything but everything that was on the paper. It's like none of what you wanted is on the sheet, or what we're looking for is on the sheet. And if you break down what we actually do as realtors, and going out there and searching on the buying side, I'll say, is that we're not only, like, think about this, we're not only helping them purchase a home, we're helping them really formulate their entire lives around where they live, right? So if you're not looking for where the nearest supermarket is, where the nearest hospital is, right? Veterans VA hospital, where's the nearest gym if they like to go to the gym, right? Their kids' school, the neighborhood. You're literally fitting and trying to understand who this person or people are, and putting them, molding them into almost like a puzzle. Like, okay, you fit here, right? So it's not just what people think that you're gonna, uh, go on this website where you can filter out what it is that they want, and then sell them, those homes. It's way more than that, because they can find the home that they love and everything. Like I mentioned, the criteria is there, but the neighborhood sucks, right? Or the drive is too far from the airport. Just so many things. So if you're not, if you don't have these key elements already like within you, like having patience, being willing to work for people or work with people, and just having that natural I want to help attitude about things, then you probably won't do really good here, and you won't last, and you won't enjoy it on top of that. So again, for me, that was like from the very beginning. I already identified that that was what I was coming to do, is to help people, because I needed that help. I had many instances when I lived in multiple places around the world, that I could have purchased a home, but I had that was not something that was presented to me. Hey, you have this opportunity to do this. And so I take, my platform now to show people, hey, you really can become a homeowner. Now, will it happen within the next, couple weeks or months that I'm introducing this idea to you? Maybe not, because of so many years of damage maybe that you've done to your credit report, or even just your mindset. I'll have to kind of like help you, reshape that. And I've had to do that with a lot of people. They'll come to me, hey, can I purchase a home? Yeah. And then I, kind of go through the steps, and show them how they can become a homeowner. But again, you have to have a program for them, outline that for them, and then have them follow it. So for me, that again, that was already from the very beginning, knowing that I wanted to help people, versus just, trying to make some income. Because you can identify with this as well, is that you can make a lot of money, but you could also make no money, no money in real estate, because there's that shiny object syndrome, or what they call it, right? Where you're just bouncing around from idea to idea. You're doing commercial, you're doing buyers, you're doing foreclosure, short sales, and it's like, where are you going to hone your skill? And essentially, you can do a lot of that, but it's like you have to get efficient, proficient in one thing. And I'd say that my where I'm efficient is helping people. That's it. I forget. learning about a home because I can, read the MLS and I can learn about a home in no time, 5 minutes. But the thing that I like to really hone and build and have a lot of confidence in is helping people and being willing to help them. Like not only just helping them, but being willing to help them. That's my thing.
What keeps you focused? Because obviously you just said like and we all know it. Like there's so many things out there to grab onto and to try to
Yeah.
run with, and you're like, oh, that could be a good idea, and then you're successful at it twice, and then you find the next thing, and then you're successful at that twice, and then you're always getting one or two deals from all these different things, and I think that's a big struggle for a lot of people in a lot of different industries as well. But real estate, most importantly, is like people are always, like you said, trying to chase the next wave or the next trend, and they never
Mhm.
get like solidified. So what takes you what keeps you focused on what you're good at and how you execute on what you're good at?
Yeah. So, well, are you asking in terms of like what keeps me grounded to still become sick or go towards my goals, or like what keeps me focused on being a buyer's agent, or is that what you're saying? Like,
Yeah, so like
are,
if
are
we're
you
if we're
asking?
you got those, both of those are the correct question really in the
Yeah.
long and short of it, because you've got the question of what keeps you focused on your real estate direction, right? Like what keeps you down the
Mhm.
same path instead of grabbing and chasing all of those shiny objects. And then you've also
Yeah.
got like what keeps you focused to continue, what drives you. So that can be a two-part question. So start with the real estate side, and then we can kind of get into the bigger picture of what drives you.
Yeah. So for me, it's just okay, so if I've already set up a plan, I'm gonna follow that. I'm gonna see that plan through, right? And I think a lot of times where people fall and don't see something through or not focus is because they don't have a plan. They're just kind of going about the day and okay, I'm a realtor, I'm an agent, and I mean, I don't always go into my brokerage, my office, but I have a schedule of things that I got to get done, right? So people fail in this profession because it's all on you, and it 100% will fall on you if you do something or if you don't do something. And for me, it's just having that action plan, right? That purpose or that business plan, I guess you can say, of like where do you want to be, like beginning of the year, how much do you want to make per every quarter, let's say, how many deals do you want to close in a month, and you work towards that. You have that focus of this is how many deals that I need to accomplish to get to my goal. Now, whether or not I'm doing buyers or foreclosures, right now I have a solid pipeline where I'm constantly getting either referrals, or I'll double back on, hey, this wasn't the month that you wanted to purchase, we can go extend the month out. And so it keeps me engaged, it keeps me active. And also the other thing with that is that I'm always looking to improve in my skills, again, with helping people. So whether that's getting better at my marketing, that's getting better at sending emails out, or even just in communication, right? In talking to people, saying, how could I help you? Sending text messages, giving them a call, following up and letting them know, hey, I'm here. If you need anything, I know this may not be the time for you, but I just want to let you know, if you have any questions, I'm here. So that's what kind of, I would say that that's what keeps me focused, is knowing that I have a plan and I have to continue on that plan, or else no one else will. So, and then the bigger picture in terms of what keeps me focused is my family. Having kids, right? Two boys, a wife. Knowing that I got to carry them, right? I put them on my back, and it falls on me. Yes, my wife works; she's a professional. She has her own business as well, but I'm the caretaker. At least the way that's how I look at it. I'm the caretaker for bringing the bacon home, right? My wife also does work, of course, but she does most of her work. Um, she breaks it up. Like she has a microblading spa, so she can push out her clients, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, between a couple hours and take care of all her clients. And most of the time, then she's with the kids and stuff, and so that helps. So my family, and then also just my will and to be better, to grow than from the year prior. So never stay stagnant, always stay active in what you're doing, always growing. The other thing too is that right now I'm actually going for my master's degree in cybersecurity. I know it has nothing to do with real estate, but cybersecurity is it's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say, I take that back. I wouldn't say it has nothing to do with real estate because right now there are a lot of scams with whether it's, escrow or, just wiring money. People are sending money wrong places, or they're getting scammed on all these websites that someone's selling a home, and then you deposit this money, you think you're going to purchase this home, and nope. So, but I think cyber is very important, and cyber actually does it's a push that the government is pushing now for businesses to have, and they're giving them incentives like, okay, if you incorporate cybersecurity into your business, into your business model, there will be some tax write off or tax incentives. So yeah.
Interesting. So you've got a lot going on, obviously. If you could summarize what your most stressful point is and how you reset from feeling that stress or how you get through that stress, what would you say?
Dang, man. I would say just off the back, the one stress that I have is that I feel like I'm not doing enough sometimes. you know and that goes back to the idea of how do you stay focused, how do you stay motivated to keep going, or to accomplish your goals. It's just like I never feel like I'm doing enough. Like I always feel like um I should be doing more. Like I probably work like 7 days a week, and I probably shouldn't. But what keeps me from feeling that way is having my wife, and how I have conversations with her, and I let her know, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling about a certain topic, or am I doing enough? And we have like deep conversations. So having her, being that ear that I can lean on, and she may not be uh, as educated or knowledgeable in real estate, but she knows somewhat in terms of like what I've already spoken to her about, right? And so she'll go back and she'll say, well, you said this and that before, and or how are you feeling about these accomplishments, right? So she'll throw in my face the accomplishments that I've already done, and then kind of give me that realization, like, okay, yeah, I'm on pace, I'm where I want to be or where I should be. But I think that that's one of those things that being an entrepreneur or being a go-getter, you always kind of feel like, am I doing enough? You know, like I I think we all kind of go through this at some point, is that we kind of mirror, or we look at what others are doing to some degree, and we're like, man, I need to get on it. But I've learned that, okay, I can look at what someone else is doing, not compare it to what I'm doing, but just use that as motivation, as fuel to keep me going, right? And yeah, I mean, I'd say that that's what has kept me leveled and not feel like I'm not doing enough.
And one of the things that you mentioned earlier, um, w- it was something about, oh no, I just lost my train of thought. But you were talking about not doing enough just now, and you were talking about, now I'm lost it. Dang it. It's gone.
Not doing enough. Yeah, I mean,
Just
look,
throw it out.
that's the thing.
But
A lot, a lot of times when even when I was in the military, right? Because I went through different ranks pretty quick, and I would say that feeling does come from the military, or that mindset does come from the military, because you can you can be doing a whole bunch of things that you think are beneficial to the progression of your career, but then someone else will come along and be like, yeah, but you took one class, but I finished my bachelor's degree. You know, I did 2 classes and I volunteered, and I don't think that that's a big like in the military we call it the whole concept airman. I think it was something around that, like whole concept or total uh total concept airman, something around that. And that just goes back to, what are you doing in your job? Are you being proficient? What are you doing to elevate your skills? Are you helping others, right? Volunteer work. Are you going to college or some type of training to outside of your work, right? So education, that you're helping or you're looking to improve yourself, right? And that's really the total package person, because I look at it now and it's like, I don't hear too many people volunteering for things or looking to help, their community. And I think that that's a very important thing, whether it's you're helping a church or you're doing a cleanup, you're going to a soup kitchen, you know, look to find ways where you can grow as a person and give back, right? It doesn't always have to be about money, money, money. And it's funny because I actually stated today that there's this idea or this concept that people say, don't work for money. And I don't think we truly understand that concept until, money shows up in your bank account and you didn't technically work. But the idea is to define what work is. That's the key. What is work to you, right? Because basketball player or even real estate, right? You can earn a lot of money. In basketball, you can earn a lot of money. Now you can ask that basketball player or even that realtor if that makes 100,000, 200, 300,000, a million, let's say, a year, if that is work, and they won't define it as work. They'll just say, whatever it is for them. Whether it's a basketball player, they'll say, "No, I'm playing, the sport that I love, basketball," but they don't say it's work unless you define it to them like that, like, "Oh, this is what you do for work."
Yeah, I had a conversation with my wife pretty often in that line of talk, and it's she talks about how hard we work or how hard I work, and I just like, I keep saying to her, like, nothing I do is work. Like, I'm literally like, you see, I'm sitting at a computer desk. Like,
Yeah,
I can't walk up to a guy that's worked in the mines for 40 years and say, man, that was hard work. Like, what I do,
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
can't, it to my core, I don't have that ability. And like you said, like, it just becomes not work. Like, it becomes like, just enjoy it, and it becomes the process, and that's what the whole thing is. Because like you've shown throughout your entire story, like the transitions of, like, I've never thought about being in the military, and then you went in the military, and then you never thought about sales and marketing really, and then you went into sales and marketing, and then you never thought about real estate, and then you went into real estate. And at some point in your life, you probably thought about having a family, but it was going to be down the line, and then you met your wife, and then it turned
Yeah,
into having a family, like all of those
yep,
things. And the thought that I had lost before is when you were talking earlier, I think a lot of what has come for you between being in the military, of having the discipline of the military, and then adding it to what I'm sure you went to a few conferences. I'm sure you were on a few Zoom calls for your multi-level marketing,
yeah,
and those things. While we can talk all day about how good or bad multi-level marketing is, that concept of what they do on a daily basis shows what's possible.
yeah,
And to have the idea of, like, seeing the possibilities, it just creates so many more opportunities for the growth. And I can see that throughout your entire life, as you've just been open to what's possible, and being
right, yeah,
exposed to that so early on in your life after the military. Like, you were able to just go, yep, that's possible, and I just got to find a way to get there, and find the vehicle that's going to
100%.
take me there. And that's so crucial throughout your entire story. I think that, like I said, just being able to see what's possible is so fantastic. And it's that you're doing that for homeowners now, people that want to buy homes. And like you mentioned, the mindset shift and all of that stuff comes into play. Like, they just got to know it's possible. And a lot of people will work at something if it's possible.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. And that's, I will say that when I first started, I was almost like, I want to teach you. I want to teach. I would always like that was like kind of like part of my speech. Every home buyer would be like, "Hey, I don't just help you purchase this home. It's also I'm going to give you the education on the process, right?" So I actually have like a PDF that I send them once once I get in the in the process of purchasing their home. So I lay it out like, this is the first thing we're going to do. Um, you know, doing a loan application, then we go into contract, escrow, and so on and so on. So I lay it all out for them because again, this is how I like to see it or how I like to be taught in terms of like, hey, I'm gonna run through, kind of like a summary, and then you can follow, oh, okay, this is where we are, type of thing. And at least that's how I like to learn. I like to learn, hey, give me just a broad view, and then we go into the hands-on.
Yeah, and it allows you to just narrow them in and get them into your process, which is a process that you've perfected over many time frames, and that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Man, I truly appreciate your time today. I think you are a very, very interesting person. I think you're doing enough. So let me look you in the eyes and say that because
Thanks,
I
man.
know the
Appreciate it.
feeling. But man, I appreciate you being on, and hopefully we can get you on again and have you tell a little deeper story on some other things. And I think you got a lot to offer. So I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for watching. Thank you.
All right, so that's this episode. We appreciate you watching, and you are not the only one. And we'll see you on the next one.